know I just took it. But, Ken want me to walk around in a choir robe every day.
You wanna talk about it?
He said, "Well, I mean, why don't you wear everything's big and flowy?" I'm big.
Because every time
and
she
flowy.
put something on, she said, "I like a pig in a blanket." I'm like, but you wear everything tight. If you wore something flowing, you wouldn't have that
Could you
problem.
imagine my little pea head walk around here with something big and flowy on?
I'm talking about like them other dresses when we used to go to the mountains. They be like, "Oh, I love your dress," like that kind of vibe. You know what? Don't even matter to me. I don't have to get in it.
Okay, I'll do something like that then.
I mean, do you get what you thought I was talking about? Something different?
Yeah, I thought you want me to put on a choir robe or something.
Nah, man. No procession lines. I'm saying like them type of dresses that you wore anyway. I think those are very sexy on you. But at the end of the day, wear whatever you're going to feel comfortable in. Just don't bother me for an hour and a half talking about.
Well, I do feel like a pig in a blanket, but, you know. I'm just saying.
I ain't ate all day, so.
I just want to see. I want to see. I want you to be like,
Stop playing. That's how we got here. Pig in a blanket. That's how we got here.
Ken.
Yes, ma'am.
No, that was like a bit much.
Hey, man, say what you want to say. I ain't, What's happening?
I'm comfortable tonight. I have a pillow behind me. I'm going to start bringing that. I'm going to start bringing my boppy in here.
I wish you would. I don't care if you get a wrap with the Taylor Talk logo all on it. That's not happening.
Accept me for who I am right now.
Well, you got to share it. It's the only way it's going to play off right. You and your boppy. You look cute, though, kiddo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel cute.
Yeah.
I got out today. I rode around. So I have, like, ups and downs. I have days where I have to tell Kendall to. I have to apologize and be like, look, I'm sorry. Today is just one of those days. Like, I have days where I just don't want to move. I can't move. My knees be like, girl, it's just, my body doesn't belong to me. And I'm not used, I'm used to being up. And so today I just felt kind of, So I rode around.
You was gone all day.
I was. Where did I go? I took Mama out to eat. Where else did I go? I was just cruising. I went over to I went to see Dorica's.
Yeah. Took the car to get looked at.
Yeah. I was just out playing great music.
I don't require you to share your location. I trust you.
You didn't even call me all day. I was like, hey, babe, do you miss me?
You enjoyed your day. I enjoyed mine. You know good and well what I was doing the whole day.
You enjoyed your day?
Huh?
You enjoyed your day?
I enjoy every day that God gives me. That's how you dodge up, but I enjoy every day that God has given me. You trying to comfort me today, but I promise you I'm slippery.
Because you're too smooth. You didn't miss me.
Just because I didn't call you don't mean I ain't miss you.
But you call me all the time.
I knew you was with mama. See, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy if you with your girls or you with your mama, you chilling, like that's your chill time. We get our time like 24/11 times 3.
I don't want to hear this speech. If I leave tomorrow, you need to call me every 5 minutes.
You might have married the wrong man. I ain't text you and tell you I love you, girl.
I text you first.
How quick did I text back? That's how I said.
Babe, you didn't miss me today, and I felt a little weird. So you better.
So is that why you came in and you turned right back around and went right back out?
Marshalls. I started looking at pillows. I started looking at stuff I didn't even need. You better call me. Let's get to shopping. I thought about buying a dog today.
I wish. You know what? Well, listen. We done had more dogs and fallouts in this marriage.
Me and Dorica's gonna share it.
On where you know what? All right, so what's happening? We out here, we here. Been getting a lot of comments about this particular topic. Even a lot of texts. This is when I think hit home. But it didn't just fall out of thin air. This is something that originated. I know you and Dorica have been talking about it. Me and you have lived it. And we want to see if we can dive into this thing a little bit and look at the two different perspectives and see if we can all grow and elevate, just in our understanding of helping versus enabling. I think we all get caught up in that, not understanding which is which. And without further ado, You ready, girl? Let's cook. As a body of believers, are we not supposed to be willing to help those that are in need of our help? We pray for God to establish us as the head and not the tail, to position us as lenders and never the borrowers, correct? And it's no secret that true blessings from the Father always come attached with an expectation that we reinvest those gifts and blessings towards carrying out his perfect will in the earth. I think we all would agree. Even Galatians 6:2 says, carry each other's burdens, and in this way we will fulfill the law of Christ. And these things should be carried out in love, seeking nothing in return but the prosperity of someone else outside of ourselves. However, the actual definition of help means to aid in improving something, assist and come along to support. That means that when we come on board to help, something has to have already been created. In order to assist, something must already be in motion and in play before we arrive to help. But too often, we confuse helping someone with actually doing the work for them. We confuse loyalty with paying for their mistakes, and we end up suffering on behalf of those unwilling to sacrifice and endure for themselves. So tonight, we want to discuss the difference between how best to help and support those who truly need that encouraging nudge just to get to the next level, and when to wisely withhold our hand from those who try to smuggle their luggage on the train that's heading towards our destiny. Let's talk about it. So the first build out is, what are some of the signs that a person that we identify truly is in need of support, and maybe even describe a moment when we were heavily burdened with helping somebody? How do we realize when somebody's truly in need of help? Now that we have a little clear understanding, and maybe an example of when you were burdened to help somebody.
Well, I really want to start it off like this because I got to really be honest. This topic came from a conversation that me and Derikas was having the other day. D, you got your mic? So, I don't want to sit here and actually, tonight I want to receive some advice from everybody in the room. Because I think that this has been a problem for me. But what I realized the other day when I was talking to Derikas, I'm steady talking to him, and I'm like, there's this one person that's a loved one of mine that's been on my heart, and I want to see better for them, and I want to see them, do better. And when they call to me and vent, the first thing I want to do is help. And then I got quiet, and I was like, but maybe that's not what I should be trying to do. I'm always the one trying to fix it. Derikas was like, that's good stuff. It's not for me to fix all the time. Sometimes people, like, for example, when I come to you, sometimes I just want to talk and get it off. When I call Derikas, I just want to talk and I'm not expecting Derikas to ever say, well, how much money you need? Because I don't need, you know what I mean? It's like, well, I don't need, but that's always been my first thing of like, what can I do to fix it? And I was telling Derikas, there's this movie out that he actually watched the other day. Me and you watched it, called Bliss. It's on Prime, y'all. And Bliss, when me and Derikas was talking, after he watched the movie, he called me back. He was like, I get what you were saying. Because I told him, I said, I always ask God to continue to bless our family so we can bless others. That's just my thing. I'm a blesser. I like to see people happy. I want to take you along the journey. But it's going to mess me up. I'm getting to that position again where I'm trying to play God in people's lives. It's going to mess me up. But I can't help my heart. So I got to figure out again, like, I had got to a place where I was good, but now that COVID is here, people are not like where they used to be. I kind of just want to jump in and fix for certain people, especially for loved ones that's close to me. Now, there's some people I'm like, you can do better. You can get up. You can go work. But there's certain people in my life where I'm just like, ah. So, and we were talking about that on the phone. The movie was kind of describing how do we get, we were talking about Charlotte, downtown.
In our city, here in Charlotte, we had a place called Tent City. Mm-hmm. And Tent City is a place where a lot of homeless people live. And over the past few months, it's really grown to like overwhelming. And so just recently, last week, they gave them like 48, 72 hours or something like that to evacuate that situation. And I learned from, at first I felt really, 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 really bad. Not saying that I still don't, but then I learned that from a client that worked with these, with the homeless people, that they actually have shelter for these people. They actually have homes. They actually have communities for these people to go. But in order to go stay at these places, you have to participate in a rehab. And a lot of these people do not want to be in that rehab because they will have to come off of drugs, come off of alcohol, and they will have to clean themselves, because the program is not for you to stay there, but for you to get help, so that you can continue to build and become better, so that somebody else can have a chance to come into this place. But a lot of those people would rather be homeless than go to a rehab.
And see, there's two things in that. Him telling me that helped me, because I was fussing like, there's so many rich people in this world. If we just came together and did, homes or shelters or da-da-da-da, and I was getting pissed because here I am saying, I want to bless, I want to bless, I want to bless. And Derikas was like, but some people you can't bless. He was saying they don't want help. They didn't want to go to the shelter because they don't want to clean up. Albert, you got DJ Nice Spirit today. But you get what I'm saying, Ken? Like, it's something that I'm realizing that, hey, wait a minute. Don't fall back into that place of trying to help certain people that don't want to be helped, because now I'm enabling. Again, I'm getting back into that thing, and I might get in trouble with God because their journey, this may be something they have to go through. So I might not need to be the one to ask.
That was really good was everybody who call you don't necessarily need an answer. They just need to be heard. But sometimes when they call us, we take on, well, this is what I'm going to do, And so she said, well, you know what? Maybe everybody that called me, maybe I don't need to give them an answer. And I said, no, you call me all the time. Sometimes I don't have an answer to the stuff she's saying. I say stuff like, yeah, I get it. Yeah. That's a lot of times when she's venting to me, that's kind of my reply. And then she actually feels better. I didn't give her no advice. I didn't say, do this, do that, do that. I was just like, yeah, okay. Instead of me saying, well, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. Yeah. And that's where the problem comes in. She cannot stop that part.
Right. So if I'm hearing everybody correctly, it's not enough to have good and pure intentions. When you're presented with something, we also have to use wisdom. So he says, be harmless as a dove, but wise as a serpent nonetheless. So therefore, there's three dynamics that could be taking place. You have somebody that does not want help, will not receive help, and is comfortable in the condition, though their condition may make you uncomfortable. We can come back to that. We can come back to that. They're comfortable in their condition, but their condition makes you uncomfortable, right? So there's an imbalance of expectation. Then you have the pocket of somebody basically just wanting to vent. And based on what you said, it's just self-therapy. It's just I need to hear myself say it in a safe place where I could be transparent and vulnerable. I'm not looking for a fix. I'm just looking for a release that might be my fix. Then you have the situation that I like to play with is the ones who don't want help. Don't want help, do want to vent, but are using it to have funding for their disabled desire, their disabled drive. By that I mean, I've encountered so many people along my life who assume that because I have XYZ that I won't miss it, right? So I don't see you taking a step to, again, the definition of help. I don't see you picking up the weight. I don't see you trying to climb the mountain. I don't see you trying to take another swing at that wall. What you want me to do is come through and fund your inability to try to walk out your own destiny. And one thing, me and O used to talk about back in the day, said you can never rob a man of his opportunity of self-discovery. There's a moment of self-discovery that happens when you suffer and you persevere and you pray and you fast and you lose and you sacrifice, and then you obtain that thing. Because he's working out your perseverance. He's working out your character. He's working out your fortitude. But sometimes when we pay the price tag, we are robbing them of that journey of self-discovery. So what happens is you basically fund that negative behavior. You fund that laziness. You fund that aborting spirit that won't complete anything. And that causes us to really have to reevaluate when we're in front of somebody and determine, do they just want to vent? Do they really need help and they just need that extra nudge? Or do they want me to continue to fund the disability of their drive and motivation?
That's dope. So that was 3. I think we can add one more.
Let's do it.
Because the person, what I realized is I have all 3 of these people. I met all 3 people like all these, right, everything you named. But I'm also becoming a problem. Yeah.
No, it is. I want to say this because when we was on tour, Kendall, I don't even know if you know, but sometimes I used to do this. I used to get so mad at her because people know her heart.
How many times we hop out the bus?
And so this is what it sounds like. This is what those conversations sound like. Oh, I love those earphones. I'm gonna get some. When I get some money, I'm going to get some. And then she says,
"You can have these."
Yep. Or I'm going to buy you some. And then when I get mad at her, she say, "No, they didn't ask me to buy them. I know they didn't.
Right.
They set you up to buy them."
Right. Indirectly. So, and then let me tell you, so then this is what happens. I put myself in that situation. So about the 10th, 15th, 20th time it happens,
She's pissed.
I'm pissed. So now I'm continuing to place myself in a victim mode, but I keep putting myself in a situation. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do. So remember when I said earlier, they're comfortable in something that makes you uncomfortable. So I think it's very safe to say that addressing some people's conditions is a condition. It's no different than men who got a Superman mentality and they keep going after women that are broken, abused. It's like, what they call them, Captain Save a Woman, whatever. That's a condition. Or women that may choose a certain type of man, always need a man who can't keep a job, always need a leg up. He got so much, that's a condition. Yeah. So that's a condition. That's something we always all have because our heart is in the right place, but it's dangerously misguided. So what happens is the enemy, society, the atmosphere, energy knows your heart, and it takes nothing to play on it. But one thing I put in here is also we don't have to hurt ourselves to help somebody else. That's not help. It's not. It falls out of it falls out of the definition of help if it's self-sabotaging, if it's self-destructive, and if it's self-enabling. Because a lot of things in life can give you a high. For me, it used to be my ego. I didn't really care if that person was going to do what they were supposed to do with the bread. I didn't really trust that they were going to accomplish what they said they was going to accomplish, but I felt good knowing that I could pay that I could help them with that. That was my condition. My condition was everybody knew they can come to KT. Everybody knew they can come to White. Ask White. Here, you know what I mean? But that wasn't healthy. Because what it was doing was I wasn't helping their condition, and I was feeding that monster called ego inside of me. We both were becoming more corrupt.
Oh, my God. You know what else you're doing? And I'm speaking for myself, too. You're sitting back and being like, okay, I can help y'all. That's cool. Come to KT. But there are moments, every human, and you also have them where you're like, hold up, I just need a little love today. And guess what? You're going to have to pay for it. That's a fact. Yeah, and then you realize, hold up. I know I just paid such and such rent. I gave such and such a car last week. I can't get nobody on the phone. Ain't nobody coming over. Because basically that ego and that thing that monster you've created, now the love is gone and you're just an ATM.
You become an ATM. Yeah. And so, was you about to say something, bro?
Fantasia is not okay with being around people who cannot afford the things that she can. Bothers her. She is not okay with it, and it starts to eat at her. And then they know, because then they'll start to say, like, I wish she's not okay with she's just not okay with that.
So how do you operate in an atmosphere where because life is just levels of the same bubble? How is it that somebody else's level can make another person uncomfortable in their God ordained greatness? So, is it that person? Because requests get made every day. A lot of y'all probably email me every day. Can she just sing happy birthday to me? Can we get her to come to my wedding? I don't reply. Instead of being ugly, I don't reply, right? Requests come every day. The response dictates the outcome. The response dictates the outcome. Now, I know my wife because we're a lot alike. We do feel uncomfortable when we enter in certain situations. Now, we come home, we suffer, we sacrifice, we strategize plans, we almost lose everything, we bounce back, we do everything to get to certain positions and do certain things. But there's this vibe when we walk into certain rooms that can be very uncomfortable. I think the mistake we make is we try to lower ourselves down to balance the room. When God called us to be able to pull things around us up, that's another form of conforming to the world and not letting the world conform to us. So what we do is we dumb ourselves down to communicate we're humble. Instead of just letting our laughter, the fact we're being patient with you, the fact that we're giving you a listening ear. Now we want to give you our number. Now we want to come and tell you we're going to do this event for you. Now we're going to buy all your cakes.
Now, wait a minute. I don't go that far no more.
I
don't go that far no more.
That happened with me and Meet and Greet sending me over there.
I used to sit there by the Kendall like, go ask Kendall. No, but I think we do it. I think we still do that part of walking into a room and not wanting people to feel left
like
out.
We're not in the room?
But we don't do the thing anymore of, don't get it twisted, you're not going to take advantage of us.
Oh, that's a fact.
Because we've been through too much, and especially me. But I also have a big heart. And I don't want to change that about myself. And I think that I've seen a lot of that happen in the industry where people get taken advantage of. So when you meet them, the first thing you say is, she was a B type. She was a B. She was, But they've gone through so much where this shield and this wall is up, and I refuse for that wall to come up. So I'm a king's kid, a true king's kid. So I want to show my love and my light everywhere I go. But you're right. There is this thing about me, and I didn't know, how did the show turn out to be about me? We should have named it Fantasia's Problems. There is this thing about me, and that's why I came in here and ran the Kendall so fast, because I am proud of myself when I acknowledge my weaknesses. And when I was talking to Derikas and I said it, he was like, that's good. Did you hear what you just said? And I was like, yo, that is my problem. They're not asking me to fix it, but I feel like I need to fix it for everybody. So he was like, that needs to be a good Taylor talk. And I ran here to Kendall because I was like, kid, I realized something about myself. That is something that I have to change. And now how do I change that? By digging deeper into my word. I watched a sermon earlier today that was right on point. I told you should watch it. You came in about Stephen, what's his name? Stephen? Mm-hmm. James had a sermon that was called Branded. And he was basically saying, like, if that person is not branded, if they can't get your blessings, you're branded. You've been branded for something. Like, there's a hedge of protection over your life. You were bought with a high price. Nothing. You have to carry yourself a totally different way. So I have to work on that by getting in the word so that I won't lose my humility, so that I won't become that person where there's a wall built up. And also so that I won't get in trouble with God, because I can't keep going around here trying to play hero and save everybody when they don't want rehab and they don't want help. But I was over here angry, like, let's help them all. And the reason was like, they don't want it.
Not just that, but like, no, that plus, I'm going to make sure I said that correctly, that plus, I went through this thing, right before we met. I was taking care of a lot of people, doing a lot of stuff. But what I realized is that what I was doing was handicapping them from reaching their full potential. Bills wouldn't get paid. Things would lapse because they knew I would pay it. But if I continue to do that, how far would you learn how to stretch? Because what if something happens to me? Then what I've done is actually enabled the situation. I've conditioned you to be dependent on me and not God. And so there were some tough decisions I had to make in my life, and I lost some people for a season and that's the next thing, is when I began to say no. Because the dangerous part is by enabling, you create monsters you have to kill. And usually when it happens is when everything's flowing and everything's in abundance and you sitting in the overflow, yeah, I got it. But what happens when your water get cut and the money stops coming in and you can't do it no more? And you have to say no. And when you say no, that's a whole nother dynamic.
But the crazy part, Ken, is I've experienced that. And still I sit here with the same. I've experienced that all the way. Where I lost it all. I had nothing else to give, and I lost everybody. I'm still kind of like, well.
So maybe this is your opportunity to break a cycle that they haven't created.
Yeah.
But you created out of a genuine and an honest place.
Yeah.
But it brought corruptible and harmful results in return.
Yeah, and I'm just steady and able.
You know
I
what I'm
need
saying?
to move out the way so that this one person, because it ain't everybody. I've learned, I'm telling you, I've been burned. I'm good. But there's this one person has so much potential. And so I went to God about it, and I was like, okay, I need you to tell. I realized that I'm doing boom, 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 boom. I'm going to sow a seed into your ministry. I'll be the first one to sow a seed, and after that, I'm out. I'm going to tell you what God told me. I'm going to show you what I realized about myself, and I'm going to sow a seed into your, and after that, I've done what I was supposed to do, and now I'm out. I have no other choice, so I'm going to get in trouble with God.
Yeah, I can dig that. You know.
I know that this ground is, it's good ground. It just needs help. It just needs guidance. And funny because this ground is ground that's older than me. It's been around.
Yeah, and that part's okay. You know what
But
I'm saying?
but yeah, it's I realized it. I've accepted it. I sold. I did what I was told to do. The number that I saw, the number that God gave me, I sold. Now I'm backing out.
So I give you an example, right? Back when I was at this mega church, I was an armor bearer. I did a lot of mentoring, and with a lot of the youth, they would go through these dating spells, and then they would have these breakups and all that good stuff. And one of the things I began to tell the youth was, I said, it's easy to say, I'm done, I break up, I don't want to be your boyfriend no more, I want to be your girlfriend no more. I said, that part is easy. The hard part is when that person comes back and you know they're sincere and you know they want another chance. It's easy when you're mad with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, you've been offended, you've been disrespected, you decapitating. But when that person comes back crying, humble, I know what I did wrong, can you still stand on your no? And that's what it comes down to. See, cutting is easy. Not remending and sewing back, that's the moment of truth when that demonstration is enforced, and that's where we have a hard time. But that's where the lesson, that's where the lines of integrity and respect are really drawn in the sand. And I know I failed at that miserably, and I hope that we both get to a point that, because we don't just make decisions emotionally off the whim, split moment decisions that have lifetime consequences. So therefore, when we make a decision, we have to be able to make it, stand on it, and stand in front of it. You know what I mean?
Can I say this? And I know Derek is ready to jump. I know both of y'all listening like, right? Shut up, Albert. I know y'all think I'm not going to do it. But I'm going to tell you what's the difference. Since COVID has hit and I've been able to sit down, I've been able to dig deeper into my word. Right? Now, we know some people who have no word in them, who've been doing the same stuff for years, who ain't trying. We know those people. But sometimes you have to meet a person with the word and remind them of the word. Remind them of the word they have in them. Remind them of what God has spoken over their life. Because we forget. We forget. Would you agree? You go through moments, you go through times, rough patches where you have no more money, you lost your job, you know what I mean? And you know for a fact, like me and her used to go to church every Sunday singing the praise team. I know she got a call in her life. What happened to her? Where is she? I feel like sometimes you have to sit a person down and remind them through the word of who they are. Call them back up, right? And if God shows you, now I always said I don't want to get in trouble. If he shows me, this ain't me just saying I want to, there was a number that was shown to me after going to him about the whole situation. I feel like I'm being obedient to what he's saying, and I have to step out. Other than I have people that I can cash out. I get texts from people I ain't heard from in years talking about cash out me. No lie.
Yeah, wish somebody would have the boots every game.
I do. Have you ever
You gotta have the wrong
do you
number
have
around here.
random emails of people saying, "Can you cash out me such 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 such"? I get those. Is that
You
weird?
might need to change your password.
To my cash app?
Whatever it is.
Yeah. It happens to you. Okay, I get a lot of those. Oh, you can block
That's
people
a
like that?
fact.
Well, I'm saying I get a lot of people who ask me for things, but there's this one person I know deep down inside that there is greater, and there's something that God has for them, and I just felt like He sent me as a reminder. Now that I have some word in me, because you can't fight off certain things when you got no word. I got some word in me a little bit, so I can remind her like of who she is. We're both King's kids. Why everybody looking at me like that?
Nah, we just letting you get it out.
Nah, I
You
can't
know
over
what
here
I'm
like,
saying?
nah.
Nah, I'm over here like, I work like the bank. You can't withdraw if you ain't make no deposit. I just cook different. I've been through too much. You know what I
But
mean?
this person has made plenty deposits in my life.
I feel you. And hey, I ain't touching it. I'm just saying I support you. You got to stand on that for you, because you know how I rock. I cut the umbilical cord on grown folks. You know what I mean? I'm not in that position, and now I have a daughter. I'm going to cut some more stuff. Straight up. Who's left to cut? Financially, who's left to cut? I'll wait.
Everything sometimes don't always have to be financially either. People can drag you here. Because that's what it was for me. You see what I'm saying? Like, say something.
So
Say something.
let me say this. I want to say this, and I'm speaking to you because I've had to speak to me. This is the reality that I had to kind of tell myself, and I'm gonna tell you this. Let's put this out there on the table. You are a giver. You are a giver. You are a giver. You have a good heart. You are a giver. You have to tell yourself this, because if you don't tell yourself this, we will constantly going through life still trying to prove that I am a giver. That is something that I no longer, and let me say this, because I know in our mind we thinking like, no, I'm not proving it, no. But I'm telling you, our actions show differently. And I had to, at some points in my life, I had to tell myself, I am a giver, and I'm not going to allow anybody else to make me think that I'm not a giver. I'm a giver from the depths of my heart. You know, so nobody can make me think differently anymore. And people used to have that. And if you would have asked me when they was doing that, I would have said, no. No, that's just what they were doing. Because at the end of the day, I know what it's like. This is the breaking point. We know what it's like not to have. Yes. So it grieves your heart because it takes you back to that place when you didn't have. And so now it becomes hard to distinguish between who really needs and who don't. And sometimes we miss hearing the voice of God because of our own emotions and our own feelings. And this really starts to feed our own egos. You know, one of my questions is that is our relationships built on these foundations with people? Because what happens is that you attract these type of people. Broke people are looking for rich people. Are people who have.
Listen to me.
And you will start to attract it. And what happens is that even when you're dating somebody in the club, most people just don't come up to you and say, hey, I want to be with you. They start off with the sweet talk, with the manipulating, like laying their problems out on the table. It used to happen to me all the time. Every time I get a phone call, people laying their problems out on the table. And then it would, even no matter how strong I got, it would prey on my heart. And the next thing you know, I feel like I got to fix it.
So I'm happy you said that, because a lot of also, like I was just telling Ken, a lot of relationships are not people are not always looking for money either. No, they're not. Right? So you're right. I attract the type of people in my life that now I'm good. Nobody's looking for money. But sometimes I was telling Derikas, I can't talk to them about my problems because we're not on the same problem level. So it's almost like, I want to vent to you and talk to you about your stuff, but please don't talk to me. So I feel like I'm here for you financially. I'm here for you if you're going through something. I'm here for you. But if I need to borrow some money and call you, you can't give me because we don't have the same. My stuff is maybe a little outrageous. If I want to call and talk to you, you block me out, and then you hit me. You get off the phone quickly. And you're like, girl, oh well, I'll see you tomorrow. And it's like, dang, did they hear anything I just said? So sometimes it's not always financial that we're giving financially. But we don't just cut. It's hard to just cut people because you have that same, you started it off. You are a giver. You have that same, you used to take care of. So it's not easy to just cut when we have seen clearly people literally stand in our face and show us that they don't really, I don't really want the same thing you want, but we still, as big hearts and givers and people who are King's kids and we love, we want to keep that. And mainly that's family. We've excluded all the, but that's mainly family. So we get walked over on, we get looked over, but we can't help who we are.
See, what I try to get her to understand about friends, this is very interesting because we go back and forth about this a lot. And I think sometimes it's a female perspective and a guy perspective, and that is, knowing is half the battle. So you have to know your circle of friends and knowing the circle of people that you deal with, who's a listener, who's a talker, who's a giver, who's a good advisor, who is good to go out to eat with. And I think that sometimes she wanted to see people straight across the board. I can know who you are and still deal with you because I know who you are. Right. She gets on me about that because she's like, but you know. And I'm like, yeah, but they just not the person I confide in.
Everybody's not an all or nothing. Like, I got a homeboy who we get on, we watch all the fights together. I got a homeboy I talk to every single day. I got a homeboy I might connect with 2 or 3 times a year. And the one thing I know I stand on, and you know I say this all the time. That's cool. I'll wait. The one thing I stand on is I have recalibrated my expectations. I don't expect certain things from certain people. And the greatest thing is I don't expect none of them to be who I am to them. I don't expect them to sacrifice the way I sacrifice. I don't expect them to go hard the way I go hard. I don't expect them to show up the way I show up, pull up the way I pull up, because that's me. I just know where to compartmentalize these folks, and we get along at that rhythm, and I don't expect number 3 to rock like number 1. I don't rock like that, and because that allows me to stay in a place of harmony.
You laughing, but let's just be honest. No. I really want you to be honest. And if you don't agree, you can't agree to this, then I want you to say. We're very honest. What type of people do I attract again?
I wasn't.
No.
But
I just want you to simply ask that question because you've seen it firsthand. So, you two, I always say I admire y'all. Got a Leo, got a Sagittarius. The Ricans ain't gonna give you much. I used to get makeup artists to come work with me, and they used to always come to me and say, do he like me? I used to be like, yeah, that's just him. Quiet, in and out of the room. You, see what he's doing now? That's what you get. He'll have a conversation, but it's easy for him to get up out the room. Me, one, I'm a celebrity. And I heard TD Jakes talking about this, and he was talking about his wife, and I thought it was so dope because I was like, I want to just like run out the house. So dope, I can relate. For some reason, that thing about me, and Hillary said it, who we're working with on my book. My love and my light, once people get around it, especially I attract broken people because I've been broken. So broken people are attracted to me. Once they get around me, they don't want to let it go. It happens. My relationships are a bit different from y'all. And guys are different from girls. Guys don't really want to be like all that needy stuff. And, man, you ain't called me, I was sick. It's like, nigga, I ain't heard from you. Like, I was sick. I ain't want to talk to none of y'all. It's different. It is really, really different. And I happen to be a celebrity. So I don't have enough time on my hands to say I got a friend for Monday, a friend for Tuesday, a friend for Wednesday, and Thursday and Friday. I have to keep a faithful few who get my anointing, who get that I'm a mother and a wife and a businesswoman. That's a lot. So it's easy for you to do that. You're a Sagittarius. You don't care. And they know you don't. They're not going to call him because they're going to be like, don't call the Ricans. You're a Leo. That's your personality. I happen to be a Cancer female who is a celebrity who loves, and I give 250 to everybody that I meet. I could be still up here and you or Kendall be at the door about to leave and text me and say, come on. I'll be like, come back and get me. I'm stuck. You seen it.
So with all that being said, like nobody can argue that, discount that, or try to take that away. I think just my personal opinion, I think it's just a scenario where how can I say this? The ant can learn something from the grasshopper, right? You are who you are. That's not going to change. That's who God made. You couldn't run from it if you want to. But there may be certain qualities and characteristics that we possess that work for us within the realm that we're in, that if applied to your paradigm of the way you live may bring you some relief, may bring you a shield and, you know, a glass wall whenever you need it, whatever the case may be, so that you don't feel obligated, so that you don't feel, you know, that you don't feel cornered in a certain situation. Because as your husband, that's something I never want from you. You know what I mean? I do think there are ways to strategically, one, move, even still in the realm of those that are in your circle of trust. And then there's another way to, how can I say this? People can only get in the way we let them in. And people don't know what I don't tell them. You don't know what I don't know that I didn't tell you that we don't know. So there's also a thing where when people come in and they start to move furniture around, it's because we let them in our house. I'm just the type of person, I can talk to you through the peephole. I can talk to you right through this window, and even after COVID, we can still act like it's COVID. That's just me. That's my personality. So what I'm saying is, I would encourage anybody in this situation, because we're personalizing things that we hope are fruit for other people, is that just because we've been doing business a certain way, just because we've been making the macaroni a certain way, does not mean that we can't change the ingredients and still keep the integrity of what that dish is supposed to be. You don't have to lose your sparkle, your light, your pizzazz, your glitter that makes you who you are. And you also don't have to let people all the way into your personal space, your personal thoughts, in order to prove you are that which you are. You are that which you are. And I think that's the thing with me. I realize everybody's not going to get me. Everybody's not going to get me. And I'm not going to overwork myself so that you get who I am, that you understand, and that you don't go tell somebody else that I ain't that who I say I am. Because I am who I am regardless what you go say. And half these people, I'll probably never see you again. I just want you to have that same kind of freedom because you deserve it. Your heart is pure. Your heart is genuine. And that's just the best way I can put it. And for anybody else, don't get caught up in a situation where I think one common thread, one common narrative we have all discussed is, don't get caught up in trying to constantly prove who you are. Be who you are. As your grandmother used to say, let your work speak for you. Let your demonstration speak for you. Because those who gonna talk after you done paid their car note and you done let them sleep on your couch and you done stayed up with them all night when they had a broken heart. They gonna do what they gonna do anyway. But we don't have to overwork ourselves when we know that we're in line with the scriptures, that we do things from a spirit of integrity, and that everybody's not going to understand us, and that is understood.
I'm cool with that. I don't want to enable anybody, whether it be money, relationship, I just don't want to enable anymore.
So, check it. I want to help as many men who help themselves. Me and Potlow talk about this all the time. We know what we're about to face with Salute First when it launches. We know that this is going to be a daunting task. But what we're going to look for are men who are fighting tooth and nail to stand as men. Those are who we want to help. Nobody who's going to try to come in and manipulate, who's going to try to cut corners, find some way to pull off some kind of scheme. We're going to shoot it down at the door. Because I've been there. I've been where I barely had a place to stay. I was trying to do everything that I could, not to sell dope, not to sell drugs, not to kick no door. I got a scar on my arm right now where I used to donate plasma. You know how embarrassing that is? To sit up in the spot where you donating plasma, but I was like, yo, I'm trying everything I can. Won't nobody hire me. I'm doing these odd jobs. That's a brother I want to help. That's a brother who I know if given the opportunity, not the brother who's sitting around trying to smoke his money away, trying to keep up with the new iPhone 12, trying to keep a fresh pair of J's. Nah, you looking for another hustle. And that's how I decipher between the two. So that's how I weigh it out. I can tell the difference between somebody who really needs help, like he's going to die trying to pull this off. I'm going to help that man. But another dude who want me to pull it off for him, no, because you actually become a burden. you become a crutch in my life. I'm trying to help you get off your crutches so you can walk, and I end up hobbling around. You know what I mean? So,
I feel you. And like I said, I thank God for the faithful few of friends I have in my life right now. That they don't want nothing from me at all. You know what I mean? Like, Dorikas don't want nothing from me. Rashia don't want nothing from me. Like, even Tip, she don't want nothing from me. You know what I mean? So I do thank God for them. And Dorikas was telling me the other day, he was like, you have to teach people how to be your friend. And at first I was like, I don't got time to be teaching. I didn't. And I was like, I got this, I got that. He was like, but wait a minute. And so I'm humbled to say, you're right. I have to teach people what I need in my life, just like I would want them to teach me what they need in their life.
Because y'all, good people don't come a dime a dozen no more. So when you have a few good people that might have a little few problems, it's okay. Just wash that off. This is a true story, real short story. I lost everything, probably like 7 years ago. Literally lost everything almost overnight. And I remember when I lost everything, my mom was staying with me. And I tell this story, it's no shame. My mom was staying with me. The hardest part about me fixing my problem and getting into a better situation was my mom. I was trying to figure it out for me and her, trying to figure it out for both of us. And that was getting so heavy on my heart because I didn't have the answers. Like literally, like overnight, God stripped me from everything, money. I mean, it was almost like I was almost on the streets. And so I remember just driving around one day, just not knowing what to do, who to call, because when you're prideful and it's one thing to never have, but it's another thing to have and then have it taken away. And you're riding around prideful. And I remember my aunt called me and I started crying, telling her the situation. And she said, if you could create any situation, what would that be? And I said, I got to find something for my mom. And she said, let your mom find for herself. So I went home and literally stood in front of my mom and poured my heart out and told her that I cannot afford this house no more. I don't have it. I'm at the pit's bottom. I'm done. And you know, and I told my mom, I said, I called my sister. She said, you can come and stay with her. You know what my mom said? I don't want to stay with her. And that broke my heart. I just poured my heart out to my mom, the woman who brought me into the world that I do not have. And my mom was being selfish at the time, and all she could see is what she wanted. And that was the one moment that my heart was so broken that I told my mom, well, you're going to have to figure it out. This is what I'm going to do. You know, I even remember when I came to Fantasia, and I told Fantasia after about 4 or 5 months in this situation, Fantasia called me one day. She said, to get you out of this situation, how much money do you need? She said, just tell me the number. And I told her, nobody can help me because where I am, God, I have to stay here. God is, even if you help me today, I would lose it all. And sometimes, my bigger point is that sometimes we're trying to fix things that she did. She called me. She told me, she said, what do you need? She just got tired of seeing me in this place because a lot of people didn't know that I was going through this. And I told her, nobody can help me. Nobody. When I was staying with my aunt for 5 months and my money, my pocket was still like a hole in it. I still could not see my money. That was a sign. God got me here for a reason. And guess what the biggest thing I learned? Everybody made it without me. Everybody made it. My mom got into a better place. Sister got to a better place. My nieces, they made it. And I'm like, everybody made it without me. In that place, I wasn't even worried about me. I was worried about how everybody was going to make it without my funds.
God cut things out your life that you didn't have the courage. I've been there, that you didn't have the courage to cut yourself. So he cut it to show you that it could be cut. That it could be cut. And I went through a similar situation, you know what I mean, with my mom. I know she watching tonight. We're in a dope place right now, you know, but we were going through some things, man, and I was just like, Mom, I can't do it no more. Like, there's no way that I can do it. And I had to let my mom go to a place that it was really a test of my ego, my sonmanship, and everything, because I knew I had the financial means, but I didn't. You know the difference between I got it, but I don't have it. And I had to make a decision, you know.
What was I over there on the other side saying?
Trying to buy a house for all I know. You're like, and I'm like,
you come live with us.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, you know, but at the end of the day, it wasn't about not giving it to her. It was about, Mom, like you inspired me. I'm fruit off the tree. You know, you still got years of giving me shade, you know what I mean, and sustenance. You know what I mean? I want to see you be great. And over time, you know, it was a tough spell because, again, when you building that thing, it's hard to go back to something that's regular, but now, like, standing on her own, about to launch a new business, doing her own thing, doing everything that she knew she had the potential to do, and is going to far exceed that. But it would have never happened if I kept being a safety net. You know what I'm saying? I had to get to the point where you were willing to climb that building and walk that tightrope on your own, knowing that you can, not because I'm there to catch, but just knowing that you can, you know, and that's important.
And you know what? Shout out to the people who
my moms.
who didn't have a safety net. God was your safety net. Like, for me, when I lost everything, because I was taking care of everybody, when you lost everything, we you know, we can't sit. Our positions are different. We're talking about the people that we've helped, but shout out to the ones that didn't have a safety net, and God was your safety net. You trusted God.
Well, we've all had help. We've all had help in some way or another, where somebody sent money and we didn't know who it was.
Or
somebody like God.
But see, that was God.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is, I'm talking about like a family member.
Oh, yeah,
like
facts.
you know, like a close person in your life to be like when I lost everything, everybody that I was taking care of, I couldn't go back and they be my safety.
Well, I can't say that. When I got out of jail, my mom was like, I ain't got much room, but you can sleep on the floor.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about
I was
me.
like, I'll take it.
Everybody was living with me.
Yeah.
You came to that house? Okay.
Nice say yeah, I was there.
So the night I could not order a pizza, and I was living in a mansion, and everybody was living with me.
That's different.
Yeah, I had to call my manager and ask her to pay for the pizza over the phone. Yeah. And I had people in the house with me. Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't have that safety net.
I would have set off some off bombs in that joint, man.
But I created, but again, I was helping to enable.
Yeah. But it came back. Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what we're saying. It looks like on the front end when it's healthy and everything's flowing, it's like I got it. But when the moment's not there, then it becomes a burden. And that's why I say helping someone else is never supposed to feel like a self-inflicted wound. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean it won't come with sacrifice, but it should never leave you in a situation, because when you pour, you have to keep something so that you can pour again. You know what I mean? You can't pour so far out that you don't have anything for yourself, your core responsibilities, and the ability to pour out again. And that's what this thing is all about, you know, distinguishing the difference between people who really need help, people who just need to vent, like us tonight. Like me and my wife, we're not looking for nothing, but sometimes it's just good to get it off our chest. And then the difference between those who don't necessarily really want to be helped. They're cool in their condition, they're cool in their place, you know, they don't want to move, they don't want to put forth the effort. Give them room to find their own way, and let God speak to them the same way He spoke to Dorikas, me, my wife, you know, everybody in this room. And then maybe you'll encounter a point in time in that relationship where you can offer some help, and they're really, really willing to receive help. Because to receive help is to treat it with respect, appreciation, and value, and to turn it into something else. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And if you're that person on the other end, like how I realized I was victimizing myself by continuously helping, if you're watching and you feel like you might be that person that is on the other end of like, well, why such and such won't help me? Cousin such and such just got a big check. They know I'm over here like, that was her blessing.
Right.
Be happy for her blessing. Don't allow jealousy to rise up, and don't allow yourself to feel like they owe you something.
You don't know what that cost her.
If you was watching their kids 5 years ago and they just got blessed, and you feel like, well, since you got paid, can you pay? You did that out of love, right? So I'm saying, like, let's check ourselves. Because I wanted to share this because I checked myself. Instead of crying and being the victim and, oh, they calling me and I'm doing it. No, girl, you putting yourself in this situation. So that's why I wanted to share it, because sometimes we have to look ourselves in the mirror, especially if we want to go to the next level, especially if we're looking for God to do something in our lives. We have to allow ourselves to be happy for other people, and we have to allow ourselves to understand that we are all walking this journey. You have to carry your own cross. What did Jake say? The cross matches the crown. You got to carry your own cross, so that, you know, if you want to be a king, you want to be a queen, you cannot put off all your responsibilities and everything you owe on somebody else. You got to put on your cross and your crown, and you got to walk it for yourself.
I know that I'm reading these comments, and the nerves were struck when we brought up family, because I think that's where everybody struggles at the most when it comes to giving.
People were mad, like we don't agree.
No, people like that's my problem. This is my problem because
okay.
you that's where it gets, because when your heart, things that your heart is attached to, that's when these conversations become shaky. And this is like the conversations that people don't get to have, because when it's your family, it becomes scarce, you know. And I like, it went crazy when I brought up my mom, because these are things that we don't, because feelings are involved. And I know with my mom, the crazy thing is, me and my mom went like 2 months without talking. And that, I mean, it hurted me, but it was the best thing that I probably could have ever done, because it put my mom into a better place, and it put me in a better place. And I was able to stand back. God arrested me. I couldn't do nothing. There was nothing I could do. There was literally nothing I could do.
Sometimes doing nothing is everything you need to do. You know what I mean? It feels helpless and weak, but sometimes doing nothing is doing everything.
Right. But I just want to also say to some people who are watching and who can relate, because I can definitely relate. Thank God your mother, y'all started back talking in 2 months. Some of y'all going to have to walk away from some situations, and they may never talk to you again. Ever. And that's all I'm going to say.
But you can't buy company.
Yeah, because they were saying that the problem with family. One of my questions, it ties into this. Let's address the elephant in the room, the word no.
I got a book on that right now. No, the book. My book is
no.
Your Best Yes and Your, what is it? Your Best Yes, Your Best No.
I'm not sure. Is that what it is? But
I always get the titles. Liza.
Yeah.
Basically, she's talking about. So she had a friend that needed somewhere to stay. Liza had a big enough house. But Liza realized she's pretty moody, and she's got a husband, some kids, and this may be a bit much. So she prayed about it. First thing the church should say is, well, we have to help others, da-da-da-da. But she went through everything like, if I move her in and my attitude is bad, what's the purpose? If I move her in and I walk around my own house angry, what's the purpose? So she said she said, I can't do it. I'm not going to be able to do it. But guess what? The friend ended up with a better job, a house. Like she didn't, it was something she wasn't supposed to jump into. So, I mean, I need books for it. Okay? And if any of you have a book you would like to suggest for me to get, please type it on the thing right now, because I need books.
The people are here for it. They like, yes, let's address this. You know, because that it wasn't that I wasn't strong enough to say no. It was the backlash that I was more scared of. Yeah. Of who's going to cut me off, who's going to act funny. Because when you're already in a down place, you can't take but much more. You know, and I think that it was that for me. I'm already on the edge. I'm already at suicide door. I'm already about done. And so the little bit of people I have, I need. And I know this is the problem with most people. I'm already at the edge. Yeah. And so I cannot deal with much backlash, that much more backlash from my no. And so I'd rather almost just do what I don't want to do just to keep my sanity.
And that still ain't good enough.
I know it's not.
Let me tell y'all, I'm going to just give you a little, make you laugh right quick. There's somebody that's very, 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 very close to me. I have conversations. This is how my conversations go. Hello, hey, how you doing, man? How you? I'm good, good. How you? I'm good, just doing da-da-da-da-da. We talk about maybe a good 30 minutes. Towards the end, this is how it goes. Well, look at here. I got this business deal. I'm like, no! Just call me to see how I'm doing. Let's just talk.
That don't happen.
No! So, here's the scoop. If you're watching and you haven't talked to me in about a week or two, I'm telling you now, that's why. I just want to talk. I don't want no more. I don't want to do business. I don't want to do business. I just want to talk.
You ever watch volleyball, right? Hit the ball right, and somebody hit it up, and you know, another person hit it up, setting it up for that spike. That's how I feel sometimes. Somebody hit her today, and when people hit me, I tell my wife, I said, the first thing I ask myself is why they hit me right now. Did they just see something trending on the internet, or something just written about me, written about us, or whatever? I'm like, why now? Because I know it's that setup. And sometimes people will text you a week in advance. Hey, just want to check on you, see how you doing. You know, I was thinking about you and the family. I heard you having a baby. And then next week, going to be like, so, you know, that way it don't look like they just popping out of thin air. You know what I'm saying? I've learned this. Y'all know I'm cut. I'm not saying no to you. I'm just saying yes to me.
That's the title of my book.
That ain't the title of your book. No, because that's my line. That's my bar. You got to put it smile. That's my bar. That's what I came up with because I realized, nice, for real, I would never say no. Like Derica said, worrying about somebody don't want to fool with me no more. Feel like I'm being greedy. I done changed. I'm acting like I'm this now. I'm acting like I'm that now. I ain't down no more. I ain't from the hood no more. No, I'm not. Worked hard as hell to get up out of there. But if I keep saying yes to everything when I really needed something, when an investment came by, I couldn't get in it, or when we needed things done, we couldn't afford it, or when something was really, you know, a priority or something was needed to be done desperately, I'd have had the means to do it because I'm looking at all these little yeses. I'm big on pennies make nickels, nickels make dimes. You know, I'm big on that. I'm big on increments. And it may just seem like $200. It may just seem like $500. But that stuff adds up, man. And I have to start saying no so that when I need something and I need to do something, which usually still ain't for me, you know, it's for my family, I need to be able to say yes. So don't take it I'm not saying no to you. That's what you're hearing. That's what you're hearing based on what you wanted to happen out of this conversation. But what I heard was yes. I know you heard no, but that's not what I said. What I said actually was yes. I just said it to me.
Right.
And I've gotten more comfortable with that.
And don't get it twisted. We have a lot of relationships that we do great business with. But for me, it's more of like family. Like, I don't want to do business. I really just want family because I'm doing business all day long. And that's what happened to me was I felt like I made the industry my family, and that's how I got hurt because that's not family. But when you feel like family's not family,
That's when it's bad.
what do you
Have nothing after that, really.
I asked you, I thought this would be a good question because I asked you guys this about a month ago on patrons, and I thought that this would be really, really good for tonight because everybody was blessed by your answer, and y'all probably won't remember, but I think y'all will get it. Do we really know how to let go and let God? Everybody put that. Everybody says it. It's kind of cliche. It's a known thing. Let go, let God. Let go, let God. Let go, let God. Like we say this. We say things easier than we tend to do them. Like even though I'm reading some of the comments and some people just like, well, I don't care what people think. I could just say no. To a certain extent, everybody cares. Even those of us who can say strong, we don't care. When you get by, it's easy to get on social media and say you don't care. It's easy to be in front of a group of people and say you don't care. But what about the things that haunt you at night when you're by yourself and it's pressing your heart, especially when you have a heart and you've been there before and you understand it? Because there are times where we really do feel like people need help. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes the people who are always needing help kind of always mess it up for the people who really do need help. You know what I'm saying? And so do we really, really, really know how to let go and let God?
No, because I think a lot of people, we can't trust what we can't see. It's hard to, like, it happened in the Bible too. Like, no, I don't think we know how to,
I'm gonna stand firm because I went through it when I lost my company,
well, yeah.
and I
it's
had the
different.
ability to put my hands on it and take it. But if I'm gonna be a man of God, that means I have. See, we say the scriptures, we recite the scriptures,
Right,
we quiz each other on the scriptures,
right.
but when something hits,
Uh-huh.
we go right back to our old ways.
But those are the moments when God is waiting to show you how powerful and real the scriptures are. It's when you've been cut. It's when you feel like you've been utterly destroyed. You've been stabbed in the back. You've been double crossed. You've been disregarded, disrespected. Those are the moments when God is saying, okay, I will not forsake you. Vengeance is mine. I will never leave you begging bread. I am your staff, your comforter. I am your rock of defense. Like, those are the moments. Not when the bills are due. Not when everything is laid out, food on the table, none of your kids are sick, your marriage is on point. It's when she ready to cut my head off. It's when we ready to turn and walk from everything. Those are the moments when it's like, those are the moments when he says, try me. Try my word. I'm not like man that I will lie. See if I won't pull you out a blessing.
But
Quote them all day long, but we don't do that.
No, because that's hard for people to do because people can't trust what they can't see.
No, I don't believe that.
No, it's this. Okay, let's use the Bible for example. Some of the stories in the Bible. Now, all of that Moses did. Now, God was talking to Moses. He wouldn't talk to Moses around everybody else. Moses would go back to them and tell them what God said. Now, just Monday, y'all saw God do a whole miracle. Right? Then Tuesday, y'all saw God switch some stuff up. Now it's Wednesday, and that Monday, Tuesday still ain't proof.
No, that's just rebellion.
But what I'm saying is, it's almost like when you start going through that stuff and things get rocky, the spirit of control, and you want to see it go your way, and it should have happened this way, and that should have happened. And because it's not happening the way you see it, trust God. Like,
we won't
You
trust
get what
God,
I'm
but
saying?
you can't see the coronavirus. You know it's real.
some people don't listen to that either. Be
yeah.
right up at
They
the
up
club.
next.
And you know what they do? When they catch it, be up on their Instagram saying, pray for me, I caught COVID.
Every day.
Well, wait a minute. Where was your basket?
What's that scripture you say? What's the one when he say, the desires of your heart, your treasure will be there also. Basically saying, you know, that thing, I don't want to mess that up. They'll do it.
They'll find it.
Oh yeah. Basically, what you set your heart on is what you believe. We can set our heart on people that we know are not good for us and believe something good gonna turn out of that. We was talking about that today. When you see something that ain't true, you know it's not right. You know it's not of God, but you sowing into it every day. You believe it, and you trying to offset what your conscience and your spirit man is telling you. Yeah. I think what we set our heart on is true. We can see it. We can set our eyes on a promotion that we know is ours. We can set our eyes on a degree that we haven't obtained yet. We just started the first semester. But we can see our life as long as it's where we put our heart and our mind and our energy to. And God is just not at the forefront of a lot of people's minds.
That's why it's a cliche. Trust God. What was the thing you said?
Let go and let God.
Let go and let God. They don't, no. Because if you're letting go and letting God, the week you post that, the next week you're saying, pray for me, I'm down. I thought we letting go and we letting God. I'm still going to pray for you. We still got to pray each other through. We still got to be, you know what I mean? But when you're letting go and you're letting God, first of all, you got to be careful what you say out your mouth because you'll be tested. Because God be like, oh, really? You letting go? You be like, wait a minute. Right? So I think that it is a thing that people just say, but that is a thing that's hard to do.
Time out. I got one for you. Is that scripture? I know it's a saying, but is let go and let God scripture? Maybe that's why we can't hold on to it.
No, it's
a song.
It's a song.
It's a song.
It's a song.
It's just a song. But
Oh yeah.
But it's a popular
Yeah.
thing that we put out there that we would like to do. I think my first, really,
that's the thing they should have said. They should have said let go. Should have said hold on tight and let God.
I'm sitting here like having an aha moment. I'm like,
I know that song though. Let go, let God.
yeah.
I love the song, but you know what? You gotta hold on. You gotta hold on tight.
I'll be like, I honor my word, but I ain't say that.
Well, it
I
said,
I didn't write that.
well, the song is saying, you know, soon as it's letting go of your problems. Soon as I let go, I stop
As
worrying.
soon as I stop worrying. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. That's PJ. I'm sorry. I love that song. Yeah, I don't think they're trying to say it's out the Bible, but I get what they're saying.
Yeah.
As soon as I stop worried about, like, when I let go and I let God, when I let go and I let God with the job, when I let go and I let God in my marriage, that's what they were saying.
Yeah, no, I get what they were saying. I just had a little funny moment. You know what I mean? I don't say cast your cares upon the Lord. I'm saying, but I guess what the Riggers was getting at is like, what is the real life demonstration, the real life application? Because it's kind of hocus pocus. Be like, let go, let God. There's a demonstration that has to.
It goes with the song. As soon as I stop wearing, have you really stopped wearing?
Yeah. Could you know that your lights was going to get turned out at 9 a.m. in the morning? Could you go to sleep peacefully and just go to bed?
See, that's how you know times have changed.
No.
Cause back then, them real mothers, like my grandmother and my mother, we didn't worry. It was like a fun night for us. We lighting candles.
Yep.
Like they had to make us go to bed. We be up acting silly.
That's back in the day, you know, Dallas ain't having it.
Yeah, the new generation. Oh, Dallas would have so much to
Dallas
say.
gonna be like, so wait, what? Wait, no internet.
Right.
Wait.
But back then, that's how you know times have changed. Things have changed.
It
Relationships have changed.
And our faith has withered, and I think, this is so good. I think Corona had a lot to do with building our faith back up. I was saying today how at the beginning of Corona, I was about blanking. I was like, oh my God. Even when I heard of a shutdown, I said, that's not legal. They can't shut us down. Well, we were shut down. And then I was sitting up there thinking like, how are we going to make it? You have a lot of money until you spend it and don't have nothing coming in.
Yep.
And now it's dwindling down, and I'm like, oh my God, when are you going to step up? I remember sitting in the window literally crying like, God, what's going to happen? How I'm going to make it? Like, I've helped the people who helped me,
Right.
and I'm running out.
Right.
But guess what? I'm still here. I'm
Like
still
you
good.
say, they doing
I'm
all right
still-
without me. but check it though. Tell me what y'all think about this. You like it, baby? That's a rider right there, boy. I personally believe, and I could be wrong, I'll stand on it by myself. I think one of the biggest disadvantages we have to increase faith is how comfortable we are. I don't mean Kendall and Fantasia. I'm talking about us in the Western civilization. Some of your greatest, most powerful worship will happen in Africa, will happen where, people are going through genocide, where people are caught up in sex slave trafficking, where there is just anarchy, war. It's something about having nothing else to lean on but God. And we have the mechanisms, money, resources, family, so on and so forth, to supplement for God. And so therefore, how does our faith get increased if it doesn't get tested and weighed? And so because we're comfortable, our meals are there, got heat, our kids are taken care of. If not, we got health insurance. We got doctors. We got medicine. We got paved roads. We got a system. We got police. We have a government. It's hard to have, not impossible, but it's hard to have that type of faith that was written in the scriptures when those things that we take for granted were not available, were not even in a line of sight. You know what I'm saying? I think our comfort, I think our pleasantries, I think our luxuries, I think our excess and our waste and our plenty, even in our lack, weighs us down from elevating in faith the way we read about, and it's a disconnect because you're like, wow, I'm looking at that faith. I'm looking at that demonstration. I'm reading this. Wow, oh my God, why isn't God? And we have to figure out a way. It's hard to maintain your faith in a blessing. That's why God had to be careful what he give you. Because he's like, you was worshiping me when you had your lights cut off at 9 o'clock, but now I don't put you in that 5-bedroom house. I don't hear from you no more.
But wait a minute. So what do you do to the ones who don't have none of that? Right? And instead of it being faith, it turns into anger towards God.
I've been there.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
And it's a dangerous place. That was the place where I was at suicide.
Right. So because everything you just named is like there's somebody on there watching like, well, I don't got none of that, and I'm still where God at in my, you see what I'm saying? Like, instead of turning that thing around, it makes you angrier with God because you're like, well, hold up, what I do? Well, I just need to put some, food on the table. So how can we in this room talk to every person that's watching that have the ability to do that and don't have the ability to do that, to still speak trust God and faith?
We can't speak for God. He speaks for himself.
No.
He say, I'm sorry, I may have misunderstood what you was saying.
Speak to the people.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. She's saying speak to the people that are there. For me,
I see what you like in that.
yeah.
And what happens is instead of it being like I love your perspective, so I want to have two perspectives, because when you're blessed or you have the ability to just ride up and get a Happy Meal or go to the store and cook a meal, your lights are cut off, but you can get them back on. You may have to go 2 or 3 days without it. Those are the times when you're on your knees and you pray and you worship your way through, but God's going to come through. What about the ones who can't ride up to get a Happy Meal, don't know where they're going to get money from to go to the store just to put food on their table, and they've worshiped and they've cried and they feel like it's like you get angry with God? And I think you were saying you've been there.
I was there when I lost everything. When I first lost everything, the first thing I went in confident because I know God. But then when God kind of wasn't the same God that I was used to, because this was a different type of chastising, because I went into a confidence saying, God gonna bring me out of this. I've seen God work before. But then when days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months, I got angry. And now I'm in this place of anger, which was taking me down to suicide door, because I felt like I couldn't hear God. I felt like I couldn't see God. I just felt like God I felt like I was out there with the wolves, and I'm wondering what is going on. And I realized that one important part about that place, God needed me to become kin to this situation, because there's a lot of people out preaching this stuff, and everybody want to preach faith. Come to church, sing, praise, but nobody want to preach about what about when I can't feel, when I can't see, when I just feel lost. And God needed me to become kin and not judgmental to these situations.
That's why I love Job's story so much, because remember God he was like, go try Job. Yeah. See what he gonna do. Because sometimes we have to have those Job moments to know that you're going to be like you had to go through that. So I want to speak to somebody who may be in that situation, who may be looking at it saying, well, easy for y'all to talk because y'all got this and y'all got that. Wow. But I'm over here like, you know what I mean? Let me show you what a real struggle is. Well, I've been there. And but the thing about it is, what I want to encourage you and say is, don't lose your faith. Like, that was the only thing I literally had.
Don't lose faith.
That was the only thing, Sean. That was the only thing, Albert. Just faith. When I could not, I was just like, God, we would still pray. I would still give God the glory, and I would still say, just don't leave me.
That's it.
Just don't leave me. I don't know what I'm going to do, but just don't leave me. So I want to say to those people who feel like it's easy for y'all to say, no, we've been there. Derickens is saying he's been there.
Listen, I think we've some of my stories I just don't get comfortable talking about. I would just say this. I've been at a place where I remember my mom knows the story. When she confronted me one time, and I told her, I said, God don't love me. I was like, I don't care about none of that no more. Like, I was just in a place, so much was happening to me back to back. And I was like, yo, God don't love me. So the only thing that I can leave with is, no matter what you feel, God loves you more in that moment than you can ever imagine. And the people that you're looking at and you think are being blessed, and you think you're wondering, like, am I less than them? Have I done something to weigh me and the balance is less than them? It's like God has never been closer. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like he's abandoned you. It feels like he's turned his back on you. It feels like everything that you touch turns to rust and dirt. But only God knows the plans that he has for your life. And I know that doesn't put food in the belly. I know that doesn't keep you warm at night. And if you have children, I definitely know it doesn't bring them comfort when you're trying to be a reflection of God in their eyes when you're the only thing that they know. But I do know this. I know for every moment that I felt that he didn't love me, that he didn't have a plan for me, that my life would be reduced to what it was, I know he has proved me wrong, because God is bold, and God desires to be worshiped, not in a cocky way, but he desires to be praised. And he will take your unbelief, he will take the skepticism, he will take the hesitancy, and he will do something in your life to show you that he is God for himself, so that you can have a personal, intimate encounter, face-to-face, spiritual, divine confrontation that will never be up for question anymore, because there were miraculous things that happened in my life the way even my wife couldn't tell me God is not real. There's nothing in this world, on this earth, that can convince me of what I seen happen on 2 nights of my life. That's it. That's all. And I had walked away from friends. I walked away from situations. I walked away from relationships. But I did have that moment of sleeping in my car and sleeping in abandoned buildings and feeling like, come on, I'm smarter than these cats over here. I ain't done what they doing. But God, only God knew that he had this moment in store for my life, that he had your new shop in store for his life, that he had your freedom and your destiny and the new role you're walking in your life. He only knew that. And what I can tell you is this, and I'm done ranting. When he walks you into your promise, it's going to be hard to remember the times of past.
What?
Yes.
When he walks you into your promise, you're going to have to concentrate to remember. When he walks you and just gives you a glimpse of your purpose and your destiny and your calling, you're going to have to intentionally concentrate to remember your suffering. I don't never think about almost getting killed and shot. I don't never think about them days in jail. I don't never think about all the times I've been in the back of a police car. I can't remember, huh? Can I borrow your hand?
No.
Who gonna lend me a hand around here? Where the hand ministry at? Need some praise dancers in here. Get the count. But I don't think about it. I know you have to remember, man, I lost everything. I was because all you see is what's in front of you. So in twofold, so that we can bring this back to, I don't want to overlook anybody that's going through what we went through, but I'm also not going to put a shade on the lamp of the brightness and the greatness that he has given us for that suffering. I would just say that what you see before you today, and my queen, myself, Nice, Darikas, even doggone Alberto, it came from suffering and loss. And without that, we wouldn't appreciate, we wouldn't value, and we wouldn't protect the beauty of what he has given us the way that we have.
Look, we probably running over. I just want to say this one little thing, because this was good. I appreciate y'all. This is really good. I love you, Ken.
I love you too.
Darikas came in the house today on fire, and he was talking about Stephen. I can't really say
Furtick.
his last
Stephen Furtick.
Verdict. I'm country. I messed up his last name. From Elevation Church. He was talking about how he was saying what we think is big to God is small to God, and what we think is small to God is big to God. Just bouncing off of what Ken had said, it just made me remember the suicide attempt. Myself, I'm speaking about myself. And how I was just over it, and I was just done, and I wanted out. I was like the richest, brokest woman you had ever met. Everybody was like, she got it. I had it, but whoo, it was all getting taken away from me. There was a lot going on. It was a lot. And I'll never forget when I opened my eyes, I was like, are you kidding me? I'm still here. Like, God, I had like all these doctors and nurses, and I had to get pumped, and they had a catheter, and they had to do all. I'm just laying here like, God, really? I'm tired, right? So you know when you do something like that, you have to stay into the hospital for several days, and somebody has to watch you. And I'll never forget this woman from up north who came. She watched me. She was very strict. You know, she was from up north. You ain't getting no lovey-dovey. Yeah. But she came into the room one day with a magazine cover that I had that I was on, I started feeling like I was small. I started feeling like I wasn't good enough. Because they were tearing me down. Radio stations, newspapers, CNN, like I was on, like I could never catch a break. But God sent that lady. He also allowed me to see in that time, I have need of thee. You have some things to do, and you can't go nowhere until I say your time is up. And he sent that lady to come into the room and remind me of how big I was to God. What I thought they could not see, she allowed me to see. She asked me, who is this? With a straight face. And I'm just looking at her. I was like, that's me. She said, right. You see this woman right here? This woman never needs to come back and be in this place again. Do you understand what I'm saying? She was allowing, God was just using her to show me that what I feel like is small is big to God. All of the stuff that I had done and went through, you know what I mean? God still had work he needed to do with me. Now look at me. A walking affirmation. So don't give up, don't give in, and understand that you can help people and help yourself, but don't enable and don't take on too much stuff that doesn't belong to you. You got to let God be God in each other's lives.
This is why, to both of y'all, and this is why you have to be careful of who you put your mouth on, because you don't know who God is preparing. You know, you don't know who's going through, you know, sometimes, you know, and especially those of us who say we're in Christ, we're being so judgmental over people's situations, but you don't know who God is preparing. And I thought about that because we're all sitting here telling testimonies when I'm sure we were being judged about stuff that we were going through. Somebody's listening, you've been judged or you're being judged, but people don't know who God is allowing to go through. I used to be judgmental over suicide. I'm not so judgmental anymore because I know how easy it is to get there. And a lot of things that I used to be judgmental over, God allowed me to go. See, you can get judgmental and God will allow you to go through those things so you could become kin to those things. And so you have to be careful of who we put our mouth on, because who would have thought that Apostle Paul would become who would have thought Saul would have become one of the greatest prophets, you know, in the Bible. God needed him to be kin on this side and then on this side. And now you can preach to the people and not act like you so greater than the people because you've been through. So you got to be careful. And if you're out there struggling and people putting their mouth on you, like Kendall said, like Fantasia said, keep trusting God. I've had people put their mouth on me. Lisa Noel said this in a song. She said, I didn't give up on God. I was crying all night long, but that's just how I made it. I made it crying. I wasn't weak. I didn't lose faith. I didn't give up on God, but that's just how I made it. Make it how you have to, whether that's praying, whether that's singing, whether that's find your thing that gets you through the night.
And keep in mind, have a mental tattoo that you are God's property, and your caution sign. Period. You don't even have to open your mouth. I just posted that. God's property. Caution. Trespassing. Dangerous. Watch your mouth. You don't want to put your mouth. I'm a king's kid. Be careful.
I ain't said that.
I'm just trying to tell you. Just saying.
I ain't said that.
I'm just trying to help you out. Be careful.
Get these lip cups off me.
I mean, you don't know. Who would have thought we'd have been sitting here doing this? This ain't my thing.
You ain't mine either.
Definitely.
Every week, they're like, if the Rick's going to come from out that camera, I'm like, I don't know.
I mean,
Ain't looking good.
I think it was much needed, though. It's needed. People need to see broken people. Yes. And that's how other broken people are healed. And they feel like, I can make it too. If they can make it, I can make it too. So our honesty and us being broken, and of course you're going to always have, you know, this whole thing that we're doing it on is a form of entertainment. So you have those who are watching but not watching. You know, it just what happened. It's just how it goes. But I want to say to those, you might want to watch. Pay attention. Stop dropping comments to pick a fight or get followers, because it's just not worth it.
Finding that thing that gets you through, sometimes you got to go back to what worked. I remember the first time I heard from God when it was a minute, and I felt like I couldn't hear God. And I remember one morning, I got naked and got in the shower.
Well, Jesus.
Wandering minds. Draw your wandering minds. Draw your wondering mind.
Why did you? I'm curious. I'm so curious.
I don't hear
I'm
nothing about
going
no. I don't
somewhere
hear
with
nothing
this.
about no oil.
I'm going somewhere with this.
If you, I don't hear nothing about no oil.
No oil.
You can say suds, soap, and skull.
No, don't
Listen,
even say
I
so.
don't hear no oil.
Don't even say so.
Listen, I said that for a reason. It plays a significant- Draw your wondering mind. It plays a significant part.
If he just said, "Now I got my oil out of."
It plays a significant part. The point that I was making.
I don't want no part of that anointing.
Listen,
Lord, let this cup pass from me.
He said, I got in the y'all remember I was talking to God. And I got in the shower, I got naked. You're like, hold up. Okay, all right, come on.
draw your wondering mind. And this is why I had to say that, because I was so worried about my stuff, getting my stuff back, that I wasn't concentrating on my placement with God. And it wasn't until I got in the shower and I did something that I used to do every day. I hadn't done it in a long time because, life, money, that I still believe in God, but some things I've changed up. I got in the shower and I started singing and worshiping like I used to do when I didn't have all this stuff.
The fact that now all that people are seeing is
I know,
you
I know,
slinging
I
and
know.
worshiping.
But this was the
Slinging and worshiping.
but this was the
Oh,
thing.
sweet cheeks.
You slinging and worshiping. God, to God be the glory. Oh, that's all I can vision now.
I'm gonna get it out your mind. But listen, I'm standing here and I'm singing, I'm worshiping, and I'm crying with no stuff. It's just me and God. And this was the first time I actually heard from God. And he said to me, I miss you in this position. I miss you in this place.
Yeah.
This is where I used to meet you every morning.
That's metaphorical, though. How God has to strip us naked. You know what I mean? Like, I get it now. You say, I got in the shower, I got naked, but like what it is, we had to come into his presence naked. We had to come in there with no ego, no title, no hidden agenda. And that's a hard thing to do. So sometimes God will strip us down to where we don't hide behind who the world thinks we are, who we presented ourselves to be, so that we can come to him like a father is pure as we really are in his presence. We can't stand in his presence, so he has to strip us naked.
So does that mean
Thank you, Kendall.
I'm not.
Thank you, Kendall.
Stop, sis.
Dude, I tried to clear it up, bro.
Sis, stop.
She coming back.
Stop.
Now, I could have just said, let's pray, but I was like, let me clean this up for bro.
No, babe.
And she,
Thank you, Kendall.
Babe, I just have a question.
Okay, I got in the
I'm
shower with
scared.
clothes on.
So that no, you didn't. Why you scared? I just want to know, can me and you tomorrow morning pray naked?
God.
Babe, we need to go to him. We need to go to him as we are.
Somebody said my shower would never be the same.
clean up on aisle 4.
Oh my
I'm
God.
gonna be in the morning.
Jesus
and you
the
know it's
Christ.
coming. I'm gonna be standing there just with the water.
Y'all see how this works. We went from feet last week to showers this week.
It's going to be a whole bunch of shower emojis.
Now it's
shower
the
down,
Nick.
rain down. Can you play that on me?
If it's any preachers
Hey.
on here, if it's
Y'all
any,
see me here next week, and I got one of them casts on that got your arm like this. You know what it is.
Hey, I'm sending you an emoji in the morning for a week straight. It's just gonna be
If
people
it's-
in the shower.
if it's any preachers, motivational speakers on here, and you're trying to get people to really see your story, please don't use the word naked because they're going to lose.
And don't use no oil.
I'ma see you people.
Oh, no, sir.
Keep your oil to yourself.
I'ma see you in the morning. Somebody gonna be in the shower doing that.
In here naked. Oh my God, naked.
Oh God.
Let's everybody say it. Naked, naked, naked.
Hashtag naked. Here we
Naked.
go.
You're in the shower naked.
Here we go. I think it was good though, and laughter is a dope way to close it out on a high note.
Somebody said the greatest showers are naked.
Because it was how he told the story.
I got in the shower.
Sis,
I got
you're going to hurt
naked.
yourself.
No, it's true. I remember.
I got in the shower.
I got
I
in the
was
shower. I
naked.
went to God. I was naked.
We appreciate your authenticity, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to. I want people to have a good visual.
Ooh, I bet you did.
I want them to feel like they was there.
Don't call
Hey,
me.
Narika, just stop. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me.
Don't call me no more.
Trust me.
Oh my God.
All right, it's time for nice and cook. We cutting that nice cook time. Oh, we gonna pray first.
Hurry, baby.
Yeah, you got a kegel. Father, just thank you for an opportunity to dive deeper beneath the surface of our understanding. Open our hearts to be able to see those who you desire us to help. Make it clear. And I ask that you give those, Heavenly Father, who don't need help, the courage to depend on you for divine blessings, guidance, and instruction to be able to lift themselves up, that way that you get the glory and not man or any woman. We ask that you bring healing to the land, Lord God. Bring clarity to our hearts as it relates to the scriptures. For those who have a hard time interpreting the scriptures, Lord, bring those high things low and bring those hidden things to the surface so that we can all know your truth for ourselves. We love you, we thank you, and we honor you, Heavenly Father. In Yeshua's name we pray. Amen.
And Lord, be satisfied with our shower. We're going to take you the money, me and Kendall. Let's get married.